No Man's Sky is the new next-gen announcement from Hello Games, the tiny British studio that brought us the brilliant, hilarious Joe Danger games. They were small but perfectly formed cartoon capers featuring a plucky stuntman. No Man's Sky is about creating an entire universe. So how have they gone from backflips on motorbikes to potentially the most ambitious game ever conceived? We can answer that question, and several others.
That's an excellent question, and I'm glad you asked it. The answer is, it's not about going from one game to another. In fact, No Man's Sky has always been part of Hello Games' nefarious plan. According to company founder Sean Murray, brilliant as it was, Joe Danger was simply a stepping stone to enable Hello Games to risk everything all over again. When the development studio was founded back in 2009, this concept was already rattling around in their heads. It's just now they're in a position to build it. Still, does feel a bit like Will Ferrell announcing that he's quitting comedy to become a particle physicist.
No Man's Sky drops you in a huge explorable universe filled with planets that have their own ecology, resources and, crucially, food chain. The idea is survival on potentially dangerous planets, and there's a loose objective to travel from your starting point at the edge of the universe to the centre of it. What's interesting is that everything you can see, from a tree that's 3 miles away to the star that's just a tiny dot in the night sky, can be travelled to and inspected. Your progress will be loosely tied to your spaceship, which allows you to fly further and further between planets and systems as you upgrade it, so you'll want to avoid having it destroyed by space pirates. Why is it those guys always show up when humanity builds sweet spaceships?
It's sort of multiplayer. While you won't be encountering other players as you explore, their presence will be felt as you uncover new locations. Resources may be thin on the ground if another player has already come and plundered a planet before you've arrived, and apparently if you wipe out an entire species of animals, that will be reflected in everyone's game. When you discover a planet yourself, you have the opportunity to broadcast the location to others, allowing you to share some of the resources with them. Though if you think we're giving you the GPS coordinates to the planet we just found with chocolate milkshake oceans, you can jog on.
It might seem an impossible task for a tiny studio that only has 4 full-time staff to create an entire universe, but the team has developed some nifty procedural tech to do the legwork for them. What that means is they don't have to handcraft every single planet. A computer generates potentially millions of them to a set of rules that ensure things don't get too wacky or, more importantly, too boring. Apparently the ecology and resources on each planet are going to make sense, and even crashed spaceships will be placed there for a reason. It's sort of like Spelunky in space, only the snakes are the size of 747s.
The goal isn't so much to shoot for realism. Instead, the art style is based on the covers of novels from the golden age of science fiction, the 60s and 70s. Just do a Google image search for Chris Foss for an idea of what the team is aiming for. It's that painterly, colourful sci-fi style that's far removed from the usual grim dystopian visions of the future. The team plans on using the whole palette rather than just variations on the colour brown. So while you will no doubt be murdered by an alien creature, at least it'll probably be purple instead of some black glistening nightmare fuel.
With this being No Man's Sky's debut, and with Hello Games being an independent developer that's not married to a big publisher, those details are still being ironed out. What they have said is that it's a next-gen game, so barring some kind of bidding war between Microsoft and Sony, which could happen based on how excited everyone is about the game, it's almost guaranteed we'll see it arriving on the Xbox One. In terms of release date, it's such a huge project and such a tiny team, they'd be foolish to promise anything at this point. Still, that's not going to stop us getting all hopped up with excitement for it. Hello Games are clearly as frustrated as we are that we haven't had a proper contemporary Elite game, so they're just going to make their own one, with all sorts of other bells and whistles added. This game has so much potential, even the sky isn't the limit. You can have that one for free, okay.